start Monday. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. This is our weekly program where we talk about a book, an online course, and a proverb that has touched us or has helped us significantly increase either our productivity or our success factor. Today, it's the 17th of May, and we have a program. We have the program on note-taking. I think you will find it very interesting. But first, let's look at our winner from the previous week of the Stand Up, Stand Out online course. Her name is Sodia Christou. She's one of our loyal fans and friends, and she has shared this episode on Facebook. So Sodia, congratulations. Melissa will get in touch with you via any of the 3 platforms that you're active in order for you to be able to claim your present. If any one of you guys wants to win the Stand Up, Stand Out, a complimentary subscription to our public speaking and presentation skill course, please feel free to share this episode either now that you're watching it live or later on. People are starting to come in. Good morning, Nikki. So first and foremost, let's start with our proverb of the week, which says the following. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you're in the pilot seat. I'm so happy that I have come across this proverb early on in my career. It was introduced to me by my late father, Rolando, and at the beginning, I didn't quite understand it. But later on, I understood it very well, the hard way. We are all given 24 hours in a day. We're either rich or poor, tall or short, doesn't matter, smart or not so smart, but we're given 24 hours. How we make use of those 24 hours will determine our productivity and our success. So it's no coincidence that the course for today that we're introducing is titled Enhance Your Productivity with Effective Note-Taking by Paula Rizzo. This is a LinkedIn course on how to take effective notes. Let me show you also the course so you can see it for any one of you who would like to take the course. If you look on your left, you'll see note like a journalist. Paula is doing exactly that. She's note-taking in a superior way because she is a journalist as well, and she's note-taking in a very effective way, and which I found very helpful. And there is another proverb I want to share with you, which says, pale ink is more retentive than the most retentive of memories. Let me say this also for our Greek audience in the Greek language. Και η πιο δυνατή μνήμη είναι ασθενέστερη από το πιο ασθενές μελάνι. So pale ink is more retentive than the most retentive of memories. So we need to take notes in order to remember, in order to be able to retrieve information and use them at the right moment. This course is jam-packed with gems of wisdom, which can help make you more productive in your note-taking. Melissa and I have chosen just a few, but we consider those few to be amongst the most important ones. Number 1 is give thought to your intentions. What do you want to walk away from that meeting? Think about the meeting before you ever walk into the meeting. For example, if you're interviewing for an accountant, let's say you want to look at not only at their accounting practice and how much they know, but about their character. And you want to note down 2 or 3 things to see what separates or what differentiates that accountant from the next. If, for example, you're having meetings like I'm having with prospects, let's say via Zoom or in person, I want to know what my prospects or my customers' genuine concerns are. So if I'm addressing their people, I want to know from the HR person, for example, what does he or she thinks are the most genuine concerns? What topics do I need to tackle? So those 3 or 4 areas, I need to make sure that I note them down in order to be able to include them in my proposal as well, and in order to be spot on the money when I address the people. Another tip that we got from this online course, and because we have a lot of smart people in our audience, is that smart people, the smarter the person is, the faster the information goes into the brain, and that will slow down your note-taking. So what do I suggest you do? You either do not take notes, or assign that to somebody else to take notes. You can also record your meeting with your mobile, but you need to ask for permission. Or like I used to do for many years when I was working for a family business variety, I used to ask for permission to record the meeting, but you need to ask for permission to do that. So you concentrate on the other person. With Zoom meetings with our customers, I always send an email prior. Melissa does it if I forget to do it, asking if it's okay to record the meeting. So we have eye contact instead of me turning down and making notes, or instead of Melissa taking notes, and it doesn't help you build rapport. And you have to find out what desire the prospect has. This is actually key for his real desire. Correct, Christian, correct. Now, should we take handwritten notes or digital notes? Well, this question is answered by Princeton University when in 2014, they made a study to find out if it's better to take handwritten notes or digital notes. Well, what do you think? Handwritten notes are much better than digital written notes. And the reason is the following, according to Princeton. When we take handwritten notes, we tend to summarize what we hear, and then we write them down. So it's easier for us to understand them and probably to retrieve them, and we get the gist, the main message. But when we take digital notes, in the majority of times, we just type on our keystroke or our keypad, word for word, what the person is saying. And in this way, we make it more difficult for us to learn the information, to understand, to assimilate the information in order to be able to retrieve it. Let's move on to another tip. Headlines. Headlines help a lot. Spacing out also your material helps a lot. Let me show you an example. These are the notes that Melissa and I have taken for this particular course. If you have headlines and highlighted headlines like we do here, it's easier for us when going back to our notes to see what's important both for you as our audience and for us, and bring out the best from this course. Spacing them out helps in order to be able to retrieve the information, because if it's all jam-packed, you see one after the other. If, for example, I show you all of our tips in one go, you might be lost. But if I show you tip by tip, spacing them out, it helps for retrieval, but it also helps for something else. If, for example, we find relevant information that has to do with headlines further on in the course, we can bring it up where we left some space and place it there. So we have topic by topic by topic. If you're having handwritten notes, still do that. Maria Spanu, good morning. Recording Zoom calls is the new must for most of our meetings, correct? People say great things and ideas in meetings that get lost if they're not recorded, either by writing them down or recording them. Then comes another great tip, the central notebook. As a football coach needs a game plan to succeed, you as a note-taking coach, you need a plan to succeed. What's the plan? You need a central notebook, because most people just take notebooks from wherever they find them available and they take notes. In my case, I just went a step further. I have this in my back. I printed on it, inspiration and ideas. That's my initials, Michael Verratti. And I make my notes in here. If I need more space, which I do need more space, when I come back into the office, I make my notes here. So I take them from that small one onto this one over here. What I learned from this course is that I need to categorize them, and I will, by topic, and leave space, because I categorize them by topic, but once my page is done, I move on to another page and I start another topic. No, I need to leave space. Christian, Princeton is right and wrong. The ideal solution we use is to record, talk or interview, and then we summarize and write them afterwards, ideally with all of from our end in the talk. That's a great idea. If it suits you, then use it, my friend. Retrieval is the key. If you be able to retrieve it, then you are spot on. Underline, bold, and bullet points, but don't overuse them, helps. That's exactly what Melissa did here. She underlined it. She made it bold. The most important things. What I like also about Melissa is that when there was a 5-step method, she underlined the word 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So by that, my eye goes directly, what's 1, what's 2, what's 3, what's 4, what's 5, without having to read the whole paragraph. Another great tip, I have to admit, I wasn't using this tip, but I'm going to be using it now, or I was using it the wrong way. The author says that how do you record digitally your notes, or if you scan them and use them digitally? First, use the date, then use the topic, and if you like, also use the author. I was using the topic before I was using the date. But why is it important to use the date? Because we can go back into our calendar and say, we always have a jump start Monday every Monday. So there was a course on note-taking. You go back, you find when was your meeting, then you look at the topic, and in our case, we're using also the author _ Paula Rizzo. So I found this to be very clever. Date, then topic, then the author. And now we go to something else. This wasn't here before the pandemic. I used to hear the word hybrid, and I thought of Toyota cars. And now I think of working from home as well. But there is hybrid note-taking as well. So handwrite the notes, especially for me, which I'm a Generation X guy. I like to handwrite my notes. Then you can digitalize them by scanning them. And if needed, because we need to help the environment as well, print them out. I didn't help the environment here, but I'm hopefully helping you with these tips. Another 2 tips. If you have a lot of people in a meeting and you're taking notes for somebody else, assign a symbol or a number. For example, person sitting at the head of the table, number 1, to his right or to her right, number 2, number 3, number 4, or a symbol, exclamation mark, a star for each person. So you don't write Melissa said, Mario said, Maria said, Sodia has said. You just use 1, 2, and 3, so you save time for quicker notes. And if you're making notes for somebody else, this is our last tip, and it's very important. And hopefully Melissa will be asking me, or I will be asking her, is what are you hoping to get out of this meeting? If you ask the other person long before the meeting what they're hoping to get out of that meeting, then your radar is up when you hear about those things. So for example, what are you as an audience hoping to get out of this meeting? Let's say, for example, my feeling is tips, productivity tips that you can use starting from today. Then if I was making notes on your behalf, I would keep notes of the central notebook, of the headlines, of why we need to make handwritten notes, of the hybrid model, or whatever it is that might interest you. So do please send your comments in. Joanna, good morning. I always take notes. Writing down information helps you to memorize the same second, correct? Scientifically proved. I totally agree with you, and thank you for vouching for that. And I was sure that you do take notes because you do remember all of the things we discussed together. And now, since we're talking about productivity, the book. We talked about the proverb. For those of you who arrived late, the proverb is the following, and here it is. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you're in the pilot seat. So you're making decisions for yourselves. You can improve because the day has 24 hours, and that's it. You need to be productive in order to be more successful in business and in life. So let's talk about the book. It is by one of my favorite authors of all time. This person has written more than 50 books. I've read 80% of those books, and perhaps the best ever book that he has written. It's on productivity. It's by Tracy, and it's titled Eat That Frog. And that book is all about getting your life back. It is all about the 80-20 principle, the Pareto effect principle, which says that 20% of what you need to do will bring 80% of the value of that particular day, month, or year. Start with those first. And he gives us examples of how we can do that by either making a list and pinpointing which are the 2 most important things. So we start working on them first. And this book that I have, where Melissa and I have just shown you, is also updated for the digital world. So there an extra 2 chapters. So make sure that you don't order the older book, you order the new version. So what else is there? Let's see some of your comments before we make an announcement. The announcement is here. Let's go back to the announcement. Guys, on this Thursday, correct me, Melissa, if I'm wrong, on the 20th of May at 10:25 Eastern European time, we have the Dean of Students from the IMD. IMD is one of the best business schools in the world. It has been voted for the last 10 years by the Financial Times as the number 1, number 2, and number 3 within those years business institution to go there and do your master's or do a course on business. And we have my friend Sean Meehan coming onto the show. I highly suggest that you are present. He's probably one of the best guests we have onto the show, and he's going to be talking to us about his brand new book. Don't miss this. It's going to be a 20-minute show, and I would love to have you here. So, Melissa, let's see some of the comments, some of the people who are here, just to say good morning. Milovan, very good morning to everyone and have a great week. Milovan, I promise you I will come to the UK, and I will. Oh, my friend Serge, good morning, Michael. Thank you for the information. What a great way to start our Monday. Wish you all a happy and productive week. Thank you very much, Serge. Feel free to share this episode so we can touch more lives. Yangos, good morning, my friend. Yangos Konstantinidis. Nikki, you have a similar notebook system to Writer Carol. Very good. Please send us more information so we can include it with Melissa if you have something that's been working. Greetings from London, Andre. Thank you for joining us. I saw you, we discussed just a while ago on LinkedIn, and thank you for tuning in. Morning to all, projecting positive thoughts for the week. Thank you, Fodi. You always project positive thoughts. And Vaso Vardagi, a great coach and a great friend who's also an author. Do check her book out. It's in Greek for the time being. For those of you who are Greek speaking, do check her book out. Good morning, Michael. Great tips. Thank you, Vaso. Thanasis, have a great week. Have a great week to you as well. Thank you, guys. Good morning, Socrates. We need to keep this short as I promised Melissa and also my wife. So we keep it short and sweet. Have a productive week ahead. And this applies today because it was all about productivity. And please tune in at the same time exactly on Thursday for our customer experience show, which